Our February 9th, 2026 Town Hall meeting, it is February 9th. We did have to postpone from last week due to the weather, so I appreciate you still showing up here. And even after the Super Bowl yesterday, staying strong here. I'm going to ask Reverend Carolyn Ward to step up for our invocation.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, as we gather in this meeting, we come humbly before you, asking you for your wisdom and understanding to guide us. Your word tells us in James 1:5, if any of you lack wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given unto you. So today we seek that wisdom, Lord, trusting that you will give us the insight we need to navigate the decisions ahead. Grant us the patience to listen to one another and the grace to understand different perspectives. Let the truth be the foundation of our decisions, and may everything we do be done in love and unity, always striving to reflect your will. These blessings we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. And if you'll please join me in standing, if you can, and we're going to pledge, I say pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Do we have any citizens' presentations? My apologies, I probably should have grabbed that back sheet. Okay. So I will toss it over to our town manager, Justin Oakes, for his comments.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Commissioners. Just a couple of quick announcements. First off, just want to say thank you to all the town employees for their service, helping to clean up after the snowfall last week. Especially wanted to recognize members of our Public Works crew. They were out early Sunday morning beginning their cleanup. Wanted to recognize our Public Works Director, Wes Thomas. Also want to recognize Will Dixon, Craig Williams, Darnell Orman, and Randy Blow, who are all members of the Public Works crew who were out working in the storm in the aftermath immediately following on the snow removal. So just wanted to extend a big thank you to those guys for getting out there and helping the cleanup process. Next up, just want to make you aware, spring sports registration are currently underway in the spring. The Recreation Department is going to be offering softball, baseball, t-ball, and soccer. So those registrations, as I mentioned, are currently underway. So you can see the guys in the Parks and Rec Department for that. And then finally, there will be a ribbon cutting for 2 new homes that were built in town by Habitat for Humanity. This ribbon cutting will be, or these homes will be dedicated on Tuesday, February the 17th at 12:30 p.m. That's all I have.
Commissioners, you have received the financial report. Are there any questions? Okay, seeing none. Changes, additions, deletions to the agenda. Do we have a motion to move forward with the agenda as outlined below?
Motion to accept the agenda as presented.
Motion has been made by Commissioner Smith. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it. So this is the fun time for me, and I think all of us sitting up here for the proclamations. We have 2 incredible ones here as we are entering Black History Month, and a special treat with Roberta Flack Day that's going to be coming up on February 13th, 2026. So I'm going to ask Ms. Valerie Hyman Garner to join me up here. We are very proud here in Farmville to make February Black History Month. So proclamation of Black History Month, whereas much of Farmville's honor, strength, and stature can be attributed to the diversity of cultures and traditions that are celebrated by residents of this town, and whereas African Americans have played significant roles in the economic, cultural, spiritual, and political development of Farmville while working to maintain and promote their culture and history, whereas as a result of their determination, hard work, knowledge, and perseverance, African Americans have made valuable and lasting contributions to Farmville, Pitt County, and the state of North Carolina, achieving success in all aspects of society, including business, education, politics, science, and the arts. And whereas in 1976, Black History Month was formally adopted to honor and affirm the importance of Black history throughout our American experience and serve to promote cultural enrichment, ethnic pride, and self-esteem by celebrating the lives and contributions of great African Americans. And whereas during Black History Month, all Americans are encouraged to reflect on past successes and challenges of African Americans and look to the future to continue to improve society so that we may live up to the ideals of freedom, equality, and justice. Now therefore, I, Alex Joyner, Mayor of the town of Farmville, North Carolina, do it here proclaim February 2026 as Black History Month in Farmville and urge all citizens to join me in paying tribute to the struggles and accomplishments of African Americans and encourage appropriate programs and activities that honor the significant contributions African Americans have made to our town, state, and nation. This is the 9th day of February 2026.
I would just like to say thank you to the town of Farmville for helping African Americans here celebrate the month of February, for all the contributions that we have played in keeping Farmville a sustainable community. We were farmers, we were sharecroppers. They call them nannies now, but we were babysitters, we were cookers, we was house cleaners. We worked for AC Monk to make it over, $1 billion company probably. And we also worked for CNA when it was here. And when we worked here, my grandparents and my parents, they spent their money here. They bought homes, they owned businesses. Cobb's Barbecue was one of the first ones that I remember being here. His brother, Mr. Nathan, Alma Cobb's father, he had a community store where we could walk in our community and purchase items. So I really appreciate, on behalf of all the African Americans in Farmville, Fountain, around this area, thank you, Farmville, and Mayor Joyner, for helping us to celebrate Black History Month and all the commissioners who played a part in this. Thank you so much. I am honored to accept it.
And now I get the honor of our second proclamation today, and I'm going to invite Ms. Gloria Walker up here. Or is there other individuals you'd like to have join me that are here present today? Excellent. So here in Farmville, if you are not aware, on February 13th, Gloria and Raheem Walker are going to be doing a presentation of Roberta Flack. And we are very honored to, one, have you celebrate this incredible individual who spent and committed so much of their time here in Farmville, and to be able to recognize that. And some of her family members will be here. So what we would like to do is proclaim February 13th, 2026 Roberta Flack Day here in Farmville. So this proclamation recognizing February 13th as Roberta Flack Day in Farmville, North Carolina, whereas Roberta Cleopatra Flack, born on February 10th, 1937, was a Grammy-winning singer, songwriter, and respected educator, and whereas Roberta, upon her graduation from Howard University at age 19, began teaching at HB Suggs School in Farmville, teaching English to 12th grade students and music to all students at the school. And whereas Roberta was a singer, songwriter of pop, soul, and R&B, who would go on to win 5 Grammy Awards in her esteemed career. And whereas Roberta is still remembered in Farmville today as a teacher who mentored students and recognized them for their gifts. And now, therefore, I, Alex Joyner, Mayor of the town of Farmville, North Carolina, do proclaim February 13th, 2026 as Roberta Flack Day in Farmville and urge all citizens to join me in paying tribute to Roberta Flack and her accomplishments, legacy, and contributions made to our town. This, the 9th day of February, 2026. We now move on to items of consent. Item number, agenda line 3 and 4, approval of minutes from our January 5th, January 14th, 2 January 14th meetings, and then the ordinance to temporarily close Main Street between Horn Ave and Church Street for the Dogwood Festival. Do I have a motion to approve these 2 items for consent?
Make a motion to approve these items of consent.
Commissioner Flanagan has made a motion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay? Ayes have it. Next up for items for discussion, presentation and audit report for fiscal year 2026-2024. I'm going to ask Jay Paris to come up and give us a presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Appreciate you all having us here tonight. I am Jay Paris with the firm of Bear, Paris & Davenport. This is Carly Jernigan. Carly and Amy did all the hard work. Carly just didn't want to get up here and talk, so I get to tell you the results. I've laid in front of each of you tonight the actual 100-plus page bound audit report. We actually, thanks to Carly and Amy's hard work, got your audit done in December. We submitted it before the end of December. But the Local Government Commission finally just approved it last week. So we brought your copies over with us tonight. But as you'll see, I'm going to talk briefly, but you got a lot going on here. I mean, you got over a $20 million budget, you got 25 funds. So I mean, you got a lot of activity. We normally just hit the highlights and speak to your fund balance and the enterprise funds. But you also each have a copy of this presentation, some of which I'm not going to read to you. But it starts out with some required communications. We're required to make you all aware of certain things during our audit, that we didn't have any problems, we had full access to all the information, we didn't encounter any difficulties. So this couple of page letter in the front of your presentation spells those facts out. And then we sort of get into your numbers, but I will start out by telling you, you all have a financial audit, and in years that you spend more than $750,000 of federal funds, you also have a single audit. So this year, you all spent almost $2 million of ARPA funds. So in addition to your financial audit, we also did what's called a federal single audit and looked at how you spent those federal ARPA funds. That was in like 3 sewer projects and 1 water project. But I'm happy to tell you your audit opinion is unmodified, which is the highest opinion you can receive. And as far as your single audit opinion, you had no findings. So really, when I get to the end, you have one little $10,000 budget over expenditure out of a $20+ million budget and a couple of items that the LGC wants us to point out to you. So in my opinion, you have a very, very clean, very good audit. Fund balance is one of the first things that interests everyone, and your fund balance went up from 27.2 to 30.37%. Most of my career, the LGC wanted you to have 24% fund balance, and starting about 4 or 5 years ago, now all of a sudden they want you to have 34. So again, your fund balance increased a little bit. You're not quite at the 34 that they suggest, but again, you're in a good range. And you'll see you were at 35 and 23, but again, you went up from 27.2 to 30.37. So again, still a decent fund balance. I'm just getting a couple. Your electric fund, we got 5 years here. Your electric fund was profitable. Your water fund, profitable. Your sewer fund, not so much, but better. I think you all experienced some slight increases in all 3 of your utility funds this past year. So you'll see you did bring your sewer fund up from negative to I'll call it break even. So again, good position in all your enterprise funds. You all have over $70 million worth of fixed assets that you account for. Electric, water, sewer, trucks, fire vehicles. So again, the light blue line is the dollar value of assets that you're responsible for. The middle aqua line right here, that is the useful life of that's used up according to engineers and so forth. And then the purple box, that's the cash that you're setting aside to replenish this stuff as it wears out. So you're about 24% funded. Ideally, you actually keep up with the wear and tear, but that's almost not practical to keep up with that. But you do, your cash position has increased from 21% to 24%. So again, this is why you need to have a profit in your enterprise funds, because not only are you trying to cover the service, you've got to build up funds to have to replace this $70 million and keep it in workable condition. So it sounds bad to have to implement an increase, but again, when you look at $70 million that you're having to maintain, you got to do more than break even to be able to sustain it. Your property tax rate, 49 cents per hundred, unchanged. Your collection rate, your valuation went up this year, and with that increase, tax bills went up, so your collection percentage went down a little bit from 99.11 to 98.34. The state average is 98.99. But again, when you look at $2.7 million worth of property taxes levied to have 98% of them collected by June 30th, I mean, that's pretty good. But yeah, this year you had $563 million worth of property that generated about $2.7 million of levy. And you'll see, that increase is indicative of your revaluation. But again, your property tax dollars went from 1.9 to 2.7. And you collected 98% of that by June 30th. As I said earlier, the only blemish you have one over expenditure in the fire department fund of about $10,000. I think you rent the location downtown, and there was about 3 years needing to be paid on the lease that got paid in this past year, and the budget was for 1 year, so it didn't cover the 3 years that got caught up and paid. That caused a $10,000 budget over expenditure. But again, you got a $20 million budget. That's a small item. I mean, we understand how it got overlooked, but that's the only finding listed in your audit. Prior to about 5 years ago, the Local Government Commission would take your audit report, they'd analyze it, and then they would send you what they call a white letter, telling you what kind of condition they thought you were in and if you had anything you needed to improve upon. They changed that and gave us some spreadsheets to plug your numbers in, and if they kick out any indicators, we're now required to present those to you. So you had 3 things that kicked out. 2 of them deal with the same thing, but the first one was just your general fund balance. Again, they like to see a minimum threshold of 34%. That's fairly new as of the last 3 or 4 years. It used to be 24. You're at 30.37, so again, not quite at 34. So this is not a finding, this is just a performance indicator mentioning to y'all, hey, we recommend you have 34%. You're at 30.37. Just keep your eye on that. And again, you are up from 27.2. And what's noted here is, you know, one month represents about 8.33%. So they want you to have about 4 months' worth of expenditures in the bank. That's their goal with setting the limit at what they do. And then the other two findings are your budget over expenditure, and it's a budget over expenditure and a significant deficiency listed in the report. So that one item accounts for 2 performance indicators. So again, overall, a very clean audit. I mean, you're lucky to have someone like Amy who cares and spends as much time in detail. Again, this is a large audit, lot of, you know, again, $20+ million. Got an unmodified opinion, fund balance that's pretty close to your target, and one budget over expenditure. So I mean, I think you had a very clean audit. And I will say, again, because of their hard work, they extended the deadline on these things to December 31st now, knowing it's hard to get them in by October. So really, this one was in on time. And we were going to present it in January, but you had a number of you weren't going to be here, so we decided to wait. And then last Monday, we got snowed out. But I think that is, again, that's it in a nutshell. Again, unmodified opinion, good shape as of June 30th. Any questions for Carla?
What was the third thing that you said was a performance indicator? You went through that so fast, I missed it.
Well, there was 3.
Right.
One of them was suggesting that fund balance be 34%.
Got that.
The other 2 deal with the over expenditure.
And the first one, I mean, what did the third one say?
Well, the third one just says it's a significant deficiency. When you look at the report, it's a finding and a significant, so it's really two in one. I mean, so really suggesting that your fund balance be 34% and the one budget over expenditure, that's in a nutshell the 2 things. And again, the budget over expenditure is the only thing that is a finding. The others are just comments from the worksheet that local government commission wants us to point that out. Any other questions? Well, we thank you for allowing us to do it. And again, we appreciate Amy's help. We couldn't get it done without her. She works hard to make sure it's done right and on time.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Manager Oaks, are we looking to have a motion to approve this, or is this just for discussion?
We need a motion to approve.
Do we have a motion to approve the audit you just saw from fiscal year 2023 to 2024?
Motion to approve the audit as presented.
Commissioner Smith made a motion to approve the audit as presented. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Nay. Ayes have it. Next on the list is the Dogwood Advisory Board report. Ask Mr. Dan Taylor to step up and provide us that report.
I don't think this is made for somebody 6'4". I'm going to turn it up like this. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. It's a pleasure to be with you tonight. My report is in lieu of your upcoming workshop. I'm going to be out of town for some continuing education, so Justin graciously allowed for me to do it tonight. I'm here to talk about something that is one of my favorite things. That's the Dogwood Festival. So this year marks the 37th annual Dogwood Festival, and you guys have, certainly all know about the festival, but I'll give you a couple of little facts and then tell you a little bit about the budget. We're listed as a legacy festival with the Library of Congress. And a couple of years ago, we were actually named, I didn't know this was a category, in the top 7 Dogwood festivals in America. We were number 5. And we were by far the smallest. Atlanta was one, Fayetteville was one. So it's the little engine that could, we did. So Dogwood Festival is widely recognized. Although not official, our estimated attendance every year, because nothing's gated except for the concert, we say over the course of the weekend, we've used this number for years, that somewhere between 20 and 25,000 people will come to Farmville during the course of that weekend to the festival. We have 9 voting and 5 non-voting members of our board, and many of our board members have served for a number of years, 10, 15, 20 years. And that is part of our success because there is a very steep learning curve in event management. And when you got a 4-day event and some days are 14, 16-hour days, it's great to have a committee that has got that long-term history. But many of us are getting gray or some cases thin. We operate with a budget of approximately $135,000 a year. I think in that book that Jay just gave you, Statement 11 covers the Dogwood Festival, and that's over a fiscal year. And from a calendar year perspective, we're about $135,000 a year in budget. Our revenues come primarily from about 4 sources: donations, which is roughly $50,000 to $60,000 a year. Our board members do an incredible job of making the ask in this community, even though there's a number of businesses in this community that experiences that donor fatigue, being asked for everything that comes along. Our businesses support the festival. So between $50,000 and $60,000 in donations, vendors' fees, ride revenue, and merchandise ticket sales. That's our 4 big areas of revenue. And, you know, this might sound as a subjective comment, but there's no doubt in my mind it's probably our biggest opportunity to showcase Farmville. It puts Farmville on the big stage. With our advertising, it's promoted in all of Eastern North Carolina. Probably the final thing that I would like to talk about is probably the most important thing to me when I think of our Dogwood Festival, and that is the relationship with the town. I'm proud to say we've never asked the town for money. There are many festivals that get significant dollars from their town, and that's, you know, I understand that's their right, but I'm proud that we don't ask that. I personally like to see our tax dollars used for other things. If you ever see me up here begging for money, you know we need it. We really need it. And I look around this room and I think about those who have been involved in the festival. Bobby, your dad, I mean, you know, he was so impactful to our festival. Mike has chauffeured our entertainment for decades and probably has a lot of great stories around that. So you guys have been very involved, embedded in the festival as well. But another thing that I'm really proud of is working with the town staff. I get a great deal of satisfaction out of working with the festival. I've done it a few years. But working with this staff, working with the public utilities, electrical department, with Amy, with PD, it's just an amazing relationship. And, you know, even though we don't ask the town for funds, what we get is more valuable than that, and that's the manpower and the facilities that we use with the town. So it is greatly appreciated. So mark your calendars, April 23rd through 26th is Dogwood Festival this year. And Mr. Mayor, I'll open up for questions if anybody has a question for me.
May I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
You said your budget was 135, and then you mentioned the 4 categories, and you only gave category 1, which was donations, 50 to 60. How do the other 3 fit into that?
Ride revenue, depending on the weather, is ranged from on a washout weekend, maybe 15, to a great weekend of high of 30. Vendors fees, I don't know, what's vendors fees? 20 to 25. Merchandise sales and would be the balance of that.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Who's the concert this year, you know?
Yes, we have national recording artist Farmville. They have not played Eastern North Carolina in a while, and we're excited to have them.
We had them with Justin Moore.
What's that?
We had them with
That's
Justin
exactly right. We sure did. They have a number of #1 hits. So the undercard, the opening artists, we haven't gotten in place yet, but they all have to be vetted and approved by the main artist. Any other questions?
Okay. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. And thank you so much for everyone who has vested their time and energy into making this happen, not just this year, but for, decades behind this. So thank you very much. Manager Oaks, is there anything that we need to have a motion on there, or was it just discussion?
Just information.
Fantastic. Next is consideration of the final agenda for the annual Board and Commissioners Planning Retreat, which, Justin, it is February 22nd and 23rd?
It is February 23rd, 24th.
23rd and 24th, close. Manager Oaks, if you will give us an overview there.
Sure, yeah. So at the January meeting, you all approved an outline of the agenda for the planning retreat. It was just, that time, it was just, more so topic form. I know I heard from a couple of you, and there was a couple of additional items that I've added in since that time. So what you've got before you this evening is the draft agenda for the retreat. Again, it would be Monday, February 23rd, and then that would be all day, and then the first half of the day on Tuesday, February the 24th. So you'll see that we've got the agenda in place here. I don't expect any major changes to this at this point. Please note there may be some minor changes to the final agenda just to accommodate, some of the presenter schedules that are coming in. But I've talked with most of them already, and they are good with the times that are listed in your packet. So at this point, just looking for approval for the board for the agenda for the board retreat.
Questions? Do we have a motion to approve the final agenda for the annual Board and Commissioners Planning Retreat held on February 23rd and 24th here at the Farmville Public Library?
I make a motion to approve it.
Commissioner Wainwright has made a motion to approve the agenda as outlined. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed, nay? Ayes have it. Next is consideration for adjusting the Board of Commissioners meeting time. I know we currently meet at 5:30, and I'm going to let Justin kind of give us an overview of what the proposed new time would be.
Sure. So we had one of our commissioners reach out and express interest in possibly moving the meeting time that we've been existingly meeting for the last several years, 5:30 to 6 p.m. If we do make any changes, we would just need to be sure that if it was acted on by the board, we would need to publicize and ensure that the public is aware of the meeting time change. So this time, basically just wanted to give the board an opportunity to discuss if that was something that they want to move forward with. From staff perspective, I don't have a preference one way or the other, but we did have one of our board members that just asked the opportunity to raise the discussion, and so wanted to do that in the board meeting session this evening.
Can you give us some information on why 5:30 was our originally intended time, or chosen time?
And so that move to 5:30 predated myself, but my understanding with that is 5:30, that coincides with the end of the town's workday. So we were able to get, as employees, department heads in particular, were coming off of their workday, they could immediately transition into the board meeting at 5:30. So that was a part of it. The other part was people that are getting off work at 5 o'clock, they could come by, go ahead, stop by the meeting on their way home, and then, could, just not have to go home and then come back out. It could just be straight shot from work to the meeting. So I think that was the primary rationale behind the change to 5:30 a few years ago.
Okay, thank you. Questions?
Well, I'd like to comment. I think that the rationale behind it, excuse me, is a good rationale. And I don't mind saying that I was the one that proposed moving the meeting to 6 o'clock. My proposing that was because I work out of town. And it would give me the opportunity to get here without having to rush. But I would not want to propose that change and have everyone else change their schedule to accommodate one person, which is me. I will make concessions for what I have to do to be here at 5:30 on first Mondays, so department heads and other people do not have to change, and they can get off at 5 o'clock and not have to go somewhere or wait around an hour for this meeting. So I'm gonna say that from my perspective, I like to keep it where it is at 5 o'clock, 5:30, and I would just do what I have to do, so other people, so many people would not have to change to accommodate me.
Any other questions from our commissioners? Okay, we'll keep moving.
Okay.
Excellent. Information for our budget calendar for fiscal year 2026-2027.
Yes, so included in your packet, this is just for information only, this is will be the budget calendar for the upcoming budget preparation period for fiscal year 26-27. Tomorrow morning, I will be having a meeting with our department heads, in which beginning tomorrow, department heads will begin work on their budget request, and then we have set a date of Friday, March the 6th for the departments to submit their budgets through our online software system to the finance director. Right now, we're looking at the week of March 16th through the 20th. Myself and Amy will meet individually with department heads to discuss their department budget request. And then from that time through up until our May Board of Commissioners meeting, which will be May the 4th, we'll be working on preparing the budget, and then we'll present the draft of the budget, first draft of the budget to the board at the May 4th meeting. Typically, sometime around that May 11th through 14th time frame, typically in years past, the board has held a budget retreat to discuss any items that may need to be talked about prior to final adoption of the budget. And then what we would do, we would hold a public hearing at the June 1st Board of Commissioners meeting, at which time the commissioners could adopt the budget ordinance. So this is just an overview of the schedule that we will be working on through the budget preparation process.
Questions from our commissioners? Okay. Next, we're at our citizens' comment section portion of the night. This is where anyone is welcome to come up here and ask questions around what they have heard here. You have 3 minutes. Please state your name and your address when you come up.
This is Salam. I am not 6 feet. Historically, this board met on first Tuesday. All boards met on Tuesdays. This board met on the first Tuesday at 7. Why? Because like him, there are a lot of people who work out of town. So it was designed that way in order to give the residents of Farmville, not just the workers. We like that the workers want to come to the meeting. But we also would like for the residents who work out of town, who cannot get here right after the regular work day. They had to come from a distance. They might have to grab dinner, whatever, so that the maximum amount, especially working people, could get to the meeting. So it's nice for all the commissioners to be able to get here and us seniors. But the young working people, we probably need to hear from them too. And so originally, historically, all the years that I was coming and my mom was coming when his father was mayor, it was at 7 on the first Tuesday. So just wanted to add that historical note.
Excellent. Thank you, AC.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. Stephen Hardy, Braz, 3340 North Green Street. I just want to comment or compliment each of you and all the department heads on financial discipline to keep making sure that our budget is on an even keel. And I understand that after year, we're trying to raise the amount that we have saved up to 34%, and I hope that we can achieve that. It seems like there was just one issue, and I'm sorry the accountants aren't here, but I'd like to get some clarification. If I heard it right, it was about rental downtown, that there was multiple years where the rent wasn't paid, and then it was paid, so then we had to pay more than that, so that was the penalty. That was the one mistake we got dinged for 2 things on, items 2 and 3. Is that the firehouse that we had to then, that we used to own, but now we have to rent out, so we had to pay multiple years' rent in 1 year? Or is that some other property that we rent downtown?
No, that's the fire
It's
station.
the firehouse that we used to own, but now we rent and we have to pay a private citizen.
Yes, sir.
So that was the mistake. All right, thank you.
Yes, sir. Anyone else?
Honorable Mayor and Commissioners, I really enjoy the
Ms. Ward,
proclamation.
will you start with your name and tell
Oh, I'm
everyone your
Carol.
name and your address?
I always assume everybody knows. Carolyn Ward, 3726 South George Street, Farmville, North Carolina. I love the proclamations for the Black History Month and the Roberta Flack Day. I've seen the video welcoming people to Farmville. We have one black person in that video. Could you please include us? That's all I wanted to know.
Thank you. Anyone else who'd like to come up and speak tonight? Okay. Do we have a motion to adjourn our February 9th, 2026 meeting here?
Motion to adjourn.
Commissioner Fields made a motion to adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed, nay? Thank you so much. Y'all have a great night.